All right, and welcome to MLS Law Show. My name is David Helm. I am a practicing. I can talk today. I'm having a hard time talking these last couple of days, but welcome. I'm an attorney and such. I do lawyery things in Michigan, and occasionally stream on YouTube. I see Jung. It must be a weekend. Jung's in the chat. Welcome. We have Atheist Aunt Wendy. Wendy H is in the chat. Excellent. I'm a little late. I blame Farrell. But yes, remember to hit that like and subscribe. Today is MLS Goes to Court, Part 4. That's what we'll be watching. You guys can make fun of me all kinds today. We have the continuation of a trial that I handled back in May of this year. It's a civil suit. It's a bench trial, and it took place over one day. And the goal of streaming this, not only to give you guys fodder to make fun of me for, but to also kind of give you an idea of a flavor of how most cases go. The big sensational ones that we handle or that we watch, that we stream, those aren't the typical cases. Those are 1 in a million type cases. The vast majority of cases are what we've been watching here on this series of streams. Daisy Jones, welcome. Hello. Rabbit is in the house. Excellent. Chris Mullen, I see you. Jamie, excellent. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. But yeah, so that's the purpose of these streams, is to give you guys an idea of what it's really like to be a lawyer and to prove once and for all that I'm a real lawyer. I don't know if it proves that, but at least I can use it in my argument. That being said, we're going to pick up right where we left off, maybe a little bit early. We are in cross-examination of witness number 2, plaintiff's witness number 2, and that is Miss Amy. It's Amy, right? Yeah, we're examining Amy. So,
the DNS number for the record.
Whoop, I didn't mean for it to play already. But this is where we are. If you haven't watched any of these streams yet, this is part 4, but it's a civil matter. There's a dispute over the domain name. The woman on the stand and the woman sitting next to me and in the back at the table are owners of a company. They claim that the domain name is owned by the company. The bald gentleman on the right claims that he owns the domain name himself personally, and that's essentially what the dispute is. So we'll pick up where we left off and go from there. Let me know if the sound is too loud, too quiet, or whatever, because when I play these streams, it's a little bit hard. When I play these videos, it's a little hard for me to gauge. Let me know.
To be honest with you, I'm not sure what it really means. It's a number that you need in order to make a website go live on the internet, I'm assuming. I'm not exactly sure what it is.
So, was that accomplished? Did you get it live, or what happened?
No, we did not, because Darren then, after I asked him for the verification code, he said that you do not own this website.
And that's when you responded, you understand it's not an asset, right?
I believe it was right around that time, but my follow-up email stated that it was an asset.
And that the first email that you said, I understand the domain name is not an asset of Epic Title, was sent Monday, October 18, 2021. Does that sound right?
Again, my times are very foggy. It could have, yes.
I can show it to you if you.
So, the two women acquired the company by essentially buying its stock, right? So everything that's owned by the company is still owned by the company. The question is did the company ever own the domain name? And it seems illogical that it ever owned, or that this individual owned it, the domain name, period. That is really a company's asset.
It's financial with Indeed. It starts, the header's right here.
Yes, Brandon.
And then
That's my
Yeah, I've
yes.
seen it. Yeah, I believe the date on it as well.
Okay. And then there's another email after that, you said?
Yeah, and it states that it actually is an asset of our company.
So first you said it's not, then you said it is.
I said it's not in order to try to be nice and make the situation light. to be able to gain access. to the
Kind of like,
website.
hey, Darren, we know you're a great businessman, and then in court to testify in an affidavit, you say he's not a great businessman? Same way?
Those were not my words in that email, so
Okay. Those were your words in the affidavit, though.
affidavit, yes.
Okay. So then, after he tells you that, what happens to the website? After he says, hey, that's mine?
AVG.
It was suspended, the website was suspended from being online, I believe for about 4 hours.
Did Darren let it get up and running again? Or what
He did
happened?
eventually, yes.
Okay. During that time period, you were still in the joint venture with Darren and Pecan, correct?
Yes,
Okay. So during that time, it would actually hurt Mr. Pettifee to not have that online. Would you agree?
I don't know if I would agree with that because his joint venture was a different entity. It was Epic Title Ventures, and I'm not sure if he had a website, but that wasn't his company that he had ownership in.
Do you know if
Thank you, Brandon, for the $4.99 super chat. Now, we're the client's appearance, the real reason that you were so disorganized. Wrong answers only. I'm going to blame it on the fact that for several months prior to this, I have been streaming on YouTube. There you go. There's my wrong answer.
you went to Epic Title Ventures,
And by the way, I was over-organized. I had too many files. I had things too organized. That was the problem.
and looked that up, if Epic Title MI would come up on a search?
I
You don't
never
know?
did.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
You never had admin rights on that website, is that true?
On Epic Title MI,
Yes.
we were able to make changes to it. I'm not sure if I was listed as the admin on it.
So, DA Val, if you go back to episode 1, where we have our expert witness and the one who drafted the purchase agreement, if you go back to his testimony, the legal position is that the domain name was registered 2 days before or 2 days after the corporation was actually organized. And it was only ever used for the company. It's not a corporation, it's an LLC. It was only ever used for the LLC. This defendant claims that he loaned it or leased it out or something like that, but he never got compensation for it. So while, yes, there is a component of that was never really raised as a legal issue. There's also a different cause of action we could have brought, but essentially we filed a petition for a declaratory action. Judge, declare that this company owns the domain name. That's all we're asking for. There's some other ancillary stuff about health insurance that continue to be paid for. The court's already ruled that the defendant has to pay the company $10,000 for the health insurance premiums that were paid and a bunch of other stuff. But this is really just a deck action. Just declare who owns this domain name. That's all we're asking for at this point.
Make changes to the website, is that
Yes.
correct? What time period are we talking about?
From the beginning, I'm not sure if Darren had sent an email to them or let them know that we're able to make changes to it in the beginning, but to my knowledge, I mean, we had pretty much had access to make changes to it, not change the website itself.
Do you know if Epic Title Ventures was shut down as a result of that, as well as Epic Title Services LLC at that time period? In
Epic Title Ventures, the company?
Yeah, if the website or their online presence was shut down along with Epic Title Services.
I'm not
until
sure
June.
if it was or
Okay.
not.
That wasn't done until June. I don't know why he's
You
asking
were
about
asked a
that.
number of questions about this
Let's see if my
Google
client will join
Analytics.
us.
Yes.
Okay. Would I be correct in that June 2022, it looks like days that are weekends don't have much or any traffic?
The weekend days, yeah, I would say that's fair. There's some traffic, but not a ton.
All right. And so the days that this was shut down encompassed a weekend as well, correct?
I'm not sure. I know it was the 13th through the 21st, I believe. I'm not sure. I didn't look at the days.
And you were present in court at a previous hearing where Meredith Davis testified, is that correct?
Yes.
And Meredith Davis is Mr. Petterfy's assistant?
I'm not sure what she does on behalf of him, but
Okay. Did she testify that she shut it down by accident?
I would object. The question calls for, it's not really hearsay, but it calls for the other testimony of another witness to be reiterated by this witness, which I don't think is appropriate, even though I don't know what I'm objecting to. I didn't even catch it this time. It was an in-court statement made by that witness. I don't think it's proper to ask this witness about what another witness said on the stand. We would just call that witness.
I asked not if she believed it to be true or not. I asked if that was
Well, this
said.
scenario is
I think
very
that's
common.
proper in court, and in an in-court statement, in a proceeding, which is recorded. I suppose we could break and I could go order the transcript and we could go through it that way, but I thought this was the easiest way to do it. I don't have
Actually, my objection should have been more towards that's an issue that's been resolved already by the court. So the court has already taken judicial notice of it.
very many follow-ups from it.
Well, I think the confrontation is the issue. I'm not able to confront that witness again on the stand. We're trying to reiterate testimony that while it was under oath was, I can't recross that statement that were done in the past during the show cause motion, which is what he's referring to.
Well,
So if the $4.99 super chat from Brandon. I'm trying to figure out also what I'm talking about because I can't even make sense of my objection, but I think I figured it out. If your client gets up, if your client joins, get Farrell up here as well. That's a match made in heaven. We will see if Farrell wants to do it or not. What I'm arguing about, there was a show cause motion when the defendant shut down the web. Look at my beautiful stance right there. I don't know what face I'm making. There was a show cause motion when the defendant shut down the website in violation of a TRO, temporary restraining order, earlier on in this case. And there was testimony regarding how many sites were shut down, why they were shut down, and things like that. The court's already made a ruling that he improperly shut down the website. So I don't know why they're going over this again. If the defendant wants to ask and get that witness's statements out, they should call that witness, not this particular one.
Okay, what was your question again?
my question was, were
I
you
don't even
present in
remember.
court when Meredith Davis testified that she shut down the website by accident in June of 2022? That's my question, yes or no?
Assumes facts, not in evidence.
Okay.
It assumes the statement by the witness, Judge. That's why I have.
I
got there eventually.
And I understand. Are
Hey,
you guys
Cameron.
asking? Are you just
Valhalla.
asking her if she was there when?
And she
it
made
was
that
allegedly
statement.
Said?
Yeah, and she made that statement. I'm asking her if she recalled that statement.
Okay, I'll allow it over objection, but I'll keep that in mind.
Sure.
Tiny hands.
I can recall the email that was sent out.
I was very much confused. I was
That's,
confusing myself. I knew there was an objection there, and I didn't know what it was, and I finally got there. So yeah, see,
He's
It
shut
happens.
down Epic Title Ventures, Epic Title Services, and I believe there was a third website. As to her, I know there was a lot going on back and forth with our attorney and her as to if it was a mistake. I'm not sure if it was a mistake, but I could recall the email that was
Okay,
sent.
because in the same vein, I wasn't in the case at the time, so I couldn't ask her questions about that, so. Would you agree that revenue fluctuates monthly, weekly, yearly for title companies?
It is seasonal, yes.
Lawyer
Winters, higher or lower?
Winter's typically lower in Michigan.
And the same with weekends and web hits. Weekends, not much traffic.
We don't see as much as during the week, that's correct.
Don't get any orders on the weekends.
I'm not saying any because we absolutely get orders on the weekends, but we don't get as
Hey, we got a 2-month membership with Maddie. Thank you very much. Good morning, beautiful law nerds. Good morning to you, Maddie. Welcome, and thank you for being a member for 2 months.
many, I would say, than we do Greg.
Is it accurate from your testimony that you, Epic Title Services LLC, made more money in 2022 than you did in 2021?
I would honestly have to look at I don't want to speak to that because I would have to look to see what the revenue looked like in 2021.
All right.
I know in certain months, that's true.
Did the change of location in June of last year improve or decrease business?
I would have to say it improved business because of our location.
What's your reasoning behind that?
We're closer, so we're able to do closings, so a lot of agents were more apt to use us because we could house closing
Okay, and that's
rooms for them.
that's in Waterford?
That's in Waterford.
Okay. And when you were talking about another $50,000 being paid for startup costs, you recall that?
I do.
Okay.
That was the first 50,000 actually.
The first 50,000 wasn't you and Ms. Lusby paying anyone. It was Epic Title Services LLC paying Christina Cantleberry and Mr. Petterfee, correct?
Pecan Ventures is who we paid it to. That's right.
Ventures, okay.
Yes.
We, so we weren't asking for damages initially. We just wanted an injunction to say, don't shut down the website, and a declaratory action. Judge declared that Epic Title owns the domain name. And then when he sold the company, he continued to receive his health insurance premiums paid through like October, November or something. So it was about $10,000 worth of premiums that we said he was unjustly enriched by. And so that was the only damages we sought. The judge made a ruling prior to trial that Epic Title was entitled to the $10,000 back from the defendant. But also, while the case was pending, he shut down the website again in June of 2021 for 9 days, 8 days, something like that. And so we show caused him on that. And the judge said, okay, I find him in contempt for shutting down the website intentionally, accidentally, it doesn't matter. He violated the order. He shut down the website. What were your damages? And we said that we would address damages at trial. So with this witness, we're not only addressing who owns the domain name and how it was used and all that, but also what sort of damages from shutting down the website in June of 2021. So hopefully that makes sense. But we didn't seek out damages at first. It just, because he violated the order and shut the website down again, we ended up going after damages to some extent.
So that has nothing to do with you or any money out of your pocket or anything that had, because
It
you were
does
just an employee at the
That's
time.
correct.
That's correct.
Why does this sound like code? Who, me? Do I sound like code?
And you weren't an owner then, because the year hadn't passed, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Oh, I get it now. Miss Lusby, Pecan Ventures. Yes. So the defendant is Darren Petterfee. Amy Lusby is the witness on the stand. Heather Leonardo is the other woman sitting next to me. Pecan Ventures is another company owned by the defendant. Then you have Epic Title Services, LLC, which is the company, the plaintiff. And then you have Epic Title Ventures, which is the joint venture between Pecan and Epic Title Services. So there. Wait, I need a murder board, apparently. I need to adopt Mo's murder board. $4.99 super chat from Brandon. Okay, YouTube wins. Get Farrell on stream. Insert offensive joke here. All right. Maybe, if Farrell wants to. I've never had Farrell on a stream with me. I don't know how that will go.
And back then, before you bought it, an accountant handled the books for Epic Title Services LLC, correct?
A gal handled the books.
Who's
Yes,
that?
and GoDaddy
Um,
hosts the website.
I'm not even sure. Her name is
Or
Katie. I'm not sure.
registered the domain.
Okay.
What her last name was.
Did Mr. Petterfy own a phone number as well, 866-2B-EPIC, prior to the sale to you?
I'm not sure if he owned it. I'm not sure how that got started, to be honest with you. But yes, that was like a vanity phone number.
And to your knowledge, he still owns that, correct?
To my knowledge, yeah, we don't have any affiliation with it since we purchased the company.
Okay. If I may have one moment to,
Take your time.
Farrell has been sent an invite. Dave is mean to Farrell. Yeah, Farrell's never been on any of my streams. I've been on a panel with her, but she's never nice, and she's really quiet. She won't talk to me.
I don't have any further questions, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Redirect. Mr. Hill?
Few short follow-up questions.
What do we think about the skirts under the table?
Well, I think it's up there.
Okay.
I just had my own copies, I didn't take
What
it.
one?
And I think my email, oh yeah, that's up there. Yeah, and so that's the court's copy.
This is the
All
court's
of
Yeah,
these
that's
are?
the court.
No, no, no,
That's
no.
I think all those are the court's copies.
The only ones that are tagged, this is yours.
Oh, thank you.
The only ones that are tagged are the court's copies. So these
Okay, those
are
are mine?
extra copies. No, they're mine.
Are you sure? I thought I gave her to Thanks.
All right.
See, I've had to get all mixed up before, and then the court reporters go, hey,
This is
who
why
has
you bring
this
your own
one?
I know,
documents,
I'm
Dan.
trying to keep track of these here.
So I'm giving them to the judge, so.
With respect to Exhibit 1, this is an email sent from Heather Lusby, but it says "we" a lot, correct?
Yes.
Is this the royal we, or is she talking about we meaning Amy, Leonardo, Heather Lusby, us we?
Us, we.
Okay. Do you think Mr. Darren Petterfy is a good businessman?
Why
I do
am I
not.
emphasizing
Do you think he
these
is a
words
good
like
man?
this?
I do not.
Okay. When you say, we think you're a great businessman and you will do good, why are you saying that?
In order to make the situation amicable,
Do you think he'll be pleased to hear your words?
we believe that, yes.
Okay. Is that the same approach you took when you sent the email regarding the ownership of the domain name?
Yes.
You think he would be pleased to hear your words?
I believe so. To make the situation
Stroke his
easier.
ego. Stroke his ego. Or something else, but mainly his ego.
You've worked with Mr. Petterfy for how long at this point when you're sending this email Exhibit 1?
What was the date? 2021. It's about 7 months.
How long have you known him at that point?
More than I make on YouTube.
Just a little over that.
Okay.
Maybe 8 months.
In the 7 and 8 months that you've known him, was he nice to you?
In the beginning, pleasant, yes. I mean, yes, for the most part, I would say so.
Okay. Did he swear?
Yes.
How often?
Not at, I wouldn't say at us, but yes,
Did he get angry?
from time to time,
Did you learn to control that a little bit?
yes.
How did you control it?
We kind of kept our noses out of a lot of things.
Is that why you felt like you had to say, we think you're a great businessman, we'll help you with the
I
joint
would say
venture?
so, yes.
I'm leading and there's no
And it was
objections.
been marked
I'm
as
gonna keep
Exhibit F.
leading.
This is a new different F because we didn't admit the other one.
Oh, okay.
Do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
What is this document?
This is the joint venture agreement between Epic Title Ventures and Epic Title Services.
Okay. And if you turn to page 3, this is the operating agreement?
Yes,
Okay. So this is both the joint venture agreement and the operating agreement for the joint venture, correct?
correct.
All right. Move to admit.
You need a moment to review it?
Well, I was, off the top of my head, I was just gonna object as to relevance. As council stated previously, we're here about a domain name and a breach of contract, and it's not breaching this contract.
You can't
So
say
I don't
relevance
see
when
that.
you just questioned
Okay,
her
let's
for
see.
20 minutes.
Mr. Helm, what do you intend to do with this?
Council had had cross-examined this witness regarding her prior entity, which was registered as an
Yeah, why am I
LLC,
yelling?
and then its name being
Why am I
changed to Epic Title Ventures, and that it was a DBA, and whether or not it was intended to. So this essentially clears up that record.
Okay, okay.
That's why I'm admitting it.
All right, Mr. Revit?
I don't think that clears it up. You can ask me questions about it, but I don't think the document itself clears up anything.
Okay. I think you both know by now, I've been pretty open here, so I'm gonna continue with my approach to this, so I'll allow it, but let's not go too far afield.
Not a problem. Page 3, if you may
Just
look,
redirect.
of Exhibit 3, or Exhibit F rather, it says that Epic Title Ventures LLC in Michigan Limited Liability Company. Do you see that?
I do,
Okay, so it was your intent to register it as a separate entity, correct?
yes,
Not as an extension or a DBA or anything?
that's correct.
Okay. That's it, Judge, that's all I have. Now, with regard to,
Well, Judge, and again, I place objection. I think her testimony was exclusive title agency was what she was talking about, and what she testified to, not Epic Title Venture.
Oh, I don't
Getting
care,
into
man.
that
Just sit
next.
down.
Okay, all right, we need to clear that up.
Yep.
Now, have you offered to admit this?
I did, no, maybe I did, I moved to admit,
I had the
exhibit.
same objections I had before.
Okay, so over objection, it is on the record, the court will admit plaintiff's proposed Exhibit F into the record as plaintiff's Exhibit F.
Thank you, Judge. And it's only for that limited purpose.
Can we talk about my outfit? I think I look good, right? Black shoes, black pants, the gray jacket, blue and yellow. I think it works.
That paragraph. What's the name of the company again? Exclusive title, what was the name again?
Exclusive Title Agency LLC.
Exclusive Title Agency LLC was going to be your company if you couldn't purchase.
Okay, so I didn't realize how aggressive I got this cross at all. I don't remember the specifics. This is the first time I'm rewatching this. So now I'm a little nervous about when I cross-examine the defendant. How aggressive do I come off?
Epic Title, correct?
That's correct.
Now, that you recorded, you registered organization documents with the state of Michigan, correct?
That's correct.
So it existed as a legal sense.
Yes,
Did you do anything with it?
we did not.
Okay. Now, was its name changed to Epic Title Ventures?
No, not to Epic Title Ventures.
Was its name changed?
It was actually, well, I'm sorry, I'm getting it confused. It became a DBA to Epic Title
Why?
because Rich Sabo changed it. I'm not sure with the angle there, I'm not sure why, to be
Did
honest.
you file any documents?
I did not.
Okay, once it was changed, did you operate the joint venture at all that way? As a DBA of your original LLC?
No, it was Epic Title Ventures is how it was operated.
Okay, as a separate,
I don't know why I'm so loud. I don't know why I'm so loud. This is funny. I've never seen it from this side before, right? I wanted to identify to Rich Sabo is the corporate counsel for the company prior to the sale. He was also a part owner of the company. And apparently he registered a DBA. But you don't have to operate under the DBA. So I don't know why the DBA is an issue. But anyways, yeah, that's angry lawyer. I don't know why I'm so angry. I don't know.
distinct entity.
That's right.
Okay, and it no longer exists. Or it's no longer in operation, I should say.
That's right.
Okay. And that operation ceased around June 2022?
Yes.
So when you file a organization document, articles of organization to organize a corporation or an LLC or anything like that, you do not have to denote the owners, the ownership interest, anything like that. The only time you do is if it's a publicly traded company. Otherwise, you don't. I'm pretty sure that's with most states. Unless you're doing some sort of public trading, you don't. All that stuff is private. It doesn't even have to be written down.
And why did it cease?
Darren pulled out all of the deals that he had with us currently, and we were told, well, we know that he started his own title company.
Yellow, gray, blue, black, checker tie. That could be.
You were asked about your affidavit. Do you remember those questions?
I do.
You were asked specifically what your affidavit does not say. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yes,
You were asked specifically whether or not your affidavit says that Darren Pettifee or that Epic Title Services LLC owns the domain name. Do you recall?
I do recall.
Okay. That affidavit doesn't say a lot of things, right?
That's correct.
To give your date of birth.
No, I don't
I
believe
mean,
it.
there's a lot of things that are facts that are not contained in
That's
this.
correct.
Okay.
So this.
So
the
is it your testimony that just because
solid yellow?
it doesn't say that in this affidavit, does that make it true?
That is my testimony.
What's wrong with the way it's tied?
It's your understanding that Epic Title Services owns that domain name.
Yes,
And that should be clear. Epic Title Services LLC.
yes,
Do you, are you aware that Epic Title Ventures also had a domain name?
we were aware of that, yes.
Okay. You don't know if it had a website, but you know it had a separate domain name.
Yes,
Okay.
I used a single Windsor.
Now, you were questioned about the current state of your website. Do you remember those?
I do.
You have not changed that due to the status quo order, correct?
That's correct.
The status quo order that was entered in December of 2021 after this case was just filed.
That's correct.
And was it after December, I believe December 12th of 2021, when that order was entered? Was it after that that you regained admin position
single
or
Windsor.
admin information?
Admin,
Information for the domain name?
yes,
Okay. So not until that status quo order was entered did you get admin authorization?
correct.
Now, you also talked about Facebook and Instagram.
Yes,
Now, you can put any website linked on that little button, right?
yes,
You could say, do that, and it'll take you to Disney.com, right?
yes,
All right. So you could put down epictitleservices.com if you created that, right?
sure, yes.
Can you change your emails?
No.
So your
You can't-
email,
You, I mean, you can change your emails, but
it's
a
still,
whole new address.
so your email currently is what, your name at epictitlemi.com?
That's correct.
All right. And then if you were to change epictitle.com, epictitlemi.com to something else, you'd have to change your email?
That's correct.
I'm objecting to this line of questioning, it goes beyond the scope of my cross-examination.
I don't think it goes beyond the scope because he made the reference to the Facebook website click buttons and Instagram click buttons that you can put any website on there. And I'm confirming that, but also asking the witness why she doesn't.
Okay. Are we done there?
Yep.
Okay.
The judge wants me to move on.
Have you ever worked for Pecan Ventures?
He's hungry.
As to the contract,
Apparently.
apparently,
Did you ever get paid by Pecan Ventures?
I'm trying to think of how I got paid. Honestly, it was direct deposited, so I don't know what company it was coming from, to be honest with you.
Did you ever hold yourself out as an employee of Pecan Ventures?
No.
Did you ever work on a website for Pecan Ventures?
No.
Did you ever have business cards that say Pecan
No.
Ventures? You file your tax returns. Are you W-2 at the time?
Yes.
Did you put Pecan Ventures?
No.
What did you put?
Epic Title Services LLC.
Okay. So this is just a messed up contract.
That's
Hi,
correct.
Judge, I'm
I
going to
believe.
place objection as to leading, and
It is
I
a messed up
believe
contract.
If she looked at her W-4, it says Pecan Venture, or Pecan Ventures.
I'll withdraw the question.
Okay. Objection sustained.
I still think I'm up by like 12.
Do you know who owns
Objections.
Pecan Ventures?
I don't.
I don't think I have anything else. Actually, one more question, sorry. You were asked about the website in October being shut down.
Yes.
It was shut down because Darren transferred the admin responsibilities back, correct? And it was shut down for a few hours because of that?
I have a bow tie.
Yes, to himself, yes.
Okay. So, once you transferred admin name to Epic Title Services, if it had been left alone, it would have never been shut down, right? Your understanding anyways?
Yeah, if we would've gotten the verification code from him, it would've been absolutely fine, and we would've had the whole new website and whatnot.
Nothing.
Can I have one follow-up on that? 'Cause that-
No, you can't sit down.
Darren didn't shut down the website, GoDaddy did, because you testified earlier that GoDaddy looked at that and there was a phone call and GoDaddy shut it down,
That's
not
correct.
Darren Simpson, not Darren Pettifee. Thank you, no further questions.
And this is just a quick question from the court here. So GoDaddy will allow you to do only certain things without the DNS?
That's correct.
Okay, and then there comes a point though beyond which GoDaddy doesn't allow you to.
That's correct, for security reasons.
Okay, so, but it will, to a certain extent, allow you, and then bam, across that threshold, it won't let you go.
That's correct, without the DNS number, that's correct, as far as setting up a new website, yes.
Okay, all right. We all set, everybody?
Cumberbund.
Gonna be a short lunch, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, all set.
Very good.
Okay, so we're gonna, thank you, okay, now you're all set. You have plenty of time to eat, you wanna come back at 2 o'clock?
Sure, that's fine.
With that, I know that's gonna,
No, it's
maybe-
fine.
Maybe working injustice to your next witness, but,
It's fine. We're good with that.
you wanna come
I
back earlier?
had a witness that I wanted to call
I
first.
can keep going, but I know others like to eat, especially your lovely clerk. Just sitting over there all nice and quiet.
We better take 45. Judge.
Okay, well, let's make sure we're not late, 2 o'clock?
Sure,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody.
So I had a witness that I wanted to call first, but because I wanted my clients both in the courtroom, which you'll see that argument on day one, I ended up calling him third, except he had to leave before I got a chance to call him because then we went into lunch. So I missed a witness.
I'm sorry, you said 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, but we'll hit the ground running, so
Right.
Sounds good.
I'll be in here waiting for you.
I don't ever eat.
I don't usually.
So we can go off the record here.
Go and do some. It froze.
All right, $4.99 super chat from Brandon. Counselor, go get your bow tie. Every failed attempt, the harem drinks. I'm good with that. I will go get my bow tie. Farrell, get ready.
Still on? Okay.
And Sal and Baker, you're both part of this too now.
All right, we'll be back.
The red light's on, but we don't think it's recording, but yeah, be cautious.
You can hang around.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, back on the record in Epic Title Services versus Petterfee. And we're going to continue our bench trial after an extended break for lunch. Everybody's back in the courtroom and in place as I scan the courtroom. All right, we've heard from 2 of plaintiff's witnesses, so I'm going to ask Mr. Helm, plaintiff's counsel, if he has a third witness he wants to call to the stand.
I do. Our scheduled third witness had to go pick up his child, so we were going to call Heather Busby instead.
Okay, okay. All right. Yeah.
Here's my
Please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the
Horrible.
truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You ladies are going to be drinking a lot.
I just tried to
Be
put it
different.
halfway
There you
together,
go.
and I think I messed them all up.
I usually just throw
I don't have a mirror. Well, I have a camera.
Let me look and see.
I need a mirror.
Okay, and I'll have you also state your full name on the record, spell each part of it for us, and then we'll turn it over to your counsel.
Heather Lynn Lusby, HeatherLynnlusby.
Okay, thank you. Probably
from the court.
need a few
Judge,
seconds.
may I approach with regard to Exhibit D? I'm not seeing it in my stack.
Yeah, I have it for you. It's this one right here.
Thank you
Yep.
very much.
Tucker Carlson
I don't know why
with
I don't
whiter teeth.
seem to have a copy
Which
of
one
it.
is it?
Okay,
It's the-
I'm going to have to, drink up, ladies, because I completely forgot how to tie it. It's been a couple of years.
Okay, so
To
Ms.
watch a
Busby has
tutorial.
been sworn in,
All right.
and she's good to go.
I'm handing you what's been entered as Exhibit D. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
What is that document?
My employment contract.
Okay. When you signed that employment contract,
The The witness on the stand, I was messaging. I wanted to see if she wanted to join us, but she is on the road. Unfortunately, she can't join us today.
Was it negotiated back and forth, or how did that transpire?
It was negotiated back and forth. Prior to us signing this, everything was verbal. And then, the part about the 3% ownership, I don't know, the way that it reads, it does say that we still get 3% of the funds, but that after a year we can purchase some. So I know that there was some question on if we were owners or not, but it still reads that we get 3% of the funds. So there was a question in our minds because we were told that we were owners, so we thought we were.
Okay, who told you that you were owners?
Darren.
Okay. And how did he say it? Like, you're owners, or you have the potential, or how did he say it exactly?
Yeah, and every time we would go out to market, it was always like, you two have to be the face, you two have to be the owners, because a real estate agent doesn't typically want people to, other agents to know that they're the owner of a title company. It could hinder other agents from wanting to do business with them, so he always said that we were to convey that we were the only owners.
Okay. So
I
even when you
completely
were
forget how to
employees,
tie
you
my
were
tie.
conveyed that you were actually owners.
Correct.
But you, to the extent that you owned any interest in Epic Title Services LLC prior to May of 2021, at the most it was maybe 3%.
Exactly.
Judge, I would just place an objection for the record. Exhibit D does not say Epic Title Services LLC anywhere on it. It says Pecan Ventures, just for the record.
Okay, any reply to that response?
How about I ask the witness about that? I guess, I mean,
Why did I say
so
it that
can,
way? The witness.
If you want
I
to
mean, I believe the prior witness testified with regard to the issue between Pecan Ventures and being in that contract and who they work for. So that's already been addressed with the witness, or with the prior witness, and I'd be happy to address it with this current witness.
All right. With the bow tie thing, I am at a complete loss, but I will continue attempting without, I'm not going to look at Google. I'm going to figure this out.
a little deeper dive.
Yeah,
I don't care, Judge. The document that they wanted to admit, and which was admitted, speaks for itself. So
Okay, okay.
on the four corners of the document, I don't think we can apply anything else here. It's what
Okay.
it is.
Let's, if you want to take a deeper dive into what she,
I loan them out to Brandon every once in a while.
what her personal belief is.
yeah.
Hey, Flux.
On that
happy
document, it
Sunday.
does say Pecan, correct?
Correct.
All right. Was it your understanding that you were going to work for Pecan at the time?
It was not.
Okay. Did you ever work for Pecan?
We received a couple of checks from Pecan, but after the first couple, we were paid from Epic Title Services.
Okay. So, did you get direct deposit, do you know, or did you get checks?
Direct deposit. The first couple that were through Pecan were checks, and then as we started getting paid through Epic Title Services, it was direct deposit.
Okay.
I think it's coming back to me now.
Handing you what's been entered as Exhibit B, do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
That is the purchase agreement for the equitable interest in Epic Title Services LLC?
Yep.
Okay.
I think I'm
You
getting
can
closer.
turn to the second to the last page.
Flux can help me in the chat, though.
Is Pecan referenced on that page?
Yes, they
I'm
are.
trying to tie a bow tie, Flux. I haven't done it in a
What are
while.
they identified as?
A releasing party.
Okay. So is it possible that Pecan itself also owned an interest in Epic Title Services LLC?
I would object. It's speculation. Yes, is it possible? Anything's possible. If she knows whether or not it did, that's a different question.
I can rephrase my question, Judge.
Okay, appreciate that.
Do you know why Pecan is listed on that signature?
We were told that Pecan was an owner of Epic Title Services.
Okay. Are you aware of what ownership interest it may have had?
That I'm not fully aware of because there was so many different things that we heard about, different, like Richard Sabo's interest, our interest. There was even another person's interest that got thrown in there as well, so I don't know the percentages.
Do you know who owns Peacock?
I believe Darren and Christina.
Okay. And Christina's last name?
Cantleberry?
Okay.
Canterbury. Doesn't that sound like a medieval?
So, is it clear who owns what interest as it relates to Pecan versus Epic Title Services at the time you entered into this employment contract?
No, I don't think it was clear, and can I say?
Thank you, Vodka Blood.
Can I elaborate a little bit on that?
Sure.
Okay. If you want to stop me, you can stop me, but I feel as though it was never very clear because we were always under the impression that Darren was an owner of Epic Title Services, and then all of this is happening. And it really seems like there's a lot of steps that are taken to make sure Darren is not the owner of these companies. And it kind of is consistent that that's happening across the board with all of them.
Yeah, he's very shady. He doesn't own anything. He doesn't get paid by anyone ever. I don't know why he's so shady like that.
Okay. What is your opinion as to Darren's business application?
He prides himself on being a shark. I think he has a very big ego, and he's proud of his ego. He's proud of his temper. He thinks he can make anybody say yes to him. And I feel like that is the main reason that we, like, not the main reason, but it's a very big reason we wanted to break away because he rubs a lot of people the wrong way.
You recall the testimony regarding Exhibit 1. Do you remember that? That's the email that you sent?
Yes,
Okay. You sent that email, right?
yes,
In there you say that he's a good business-minded gentleman or something. I forget how it's phrased.
yeah,
Good businessman, right?
right.
Okay. Do you believe that to be true?
I do not.
Why did you say that?
Because we had dealt with Darren enough. We've seen him get angry and his face get red and him yell and swear. And he was very condescending towards women. So I'm not new to the industry. I've been in mortgages and real estate since I was 20 years old. I know how to deal with a man like that, and he needs his ego stroked. That is exactly what I was doing because we had to do that to be
love
able
this
to
witness.
even enter into a conversation about selling it. We didn't feel that way, or else we wouldn't have been looking to separate ways.
Showing you again Exhibit D, and this is paragraph 8. In there it says that you shall not engage in any work for another employer that is related to or competing with the company, correct?
Yes, correct.
Did you engage in any employment in competition with Epic Title Services before you purchased Epic Title Services?
We did not.
There. I think I have two of those, that's why you couldn't find one.
Oh, all right. You stole mine, I got
I
it.
know it, I can see we were just talking about it, there it was.
Wondering why I couldn't find that. Okay. When you were first hired, did you work on the website at all? Were you involved at all with the website?
I helped with the little widget that we put on the website for our net sheet application. Both Amy and I had a hand in that, but that's it.
Okay. Was, in your mind, was the domain name for the website incorporated? No, let me rephrase that.
Quit talking.
At the time you entered into the agreement to purchase the equitable interest in Epic Title Services, did you understand that the domain name was owned by Epic Title Services at that time?
100%.
Okay. What made you believe that?
Because everything else was being transferred over and owned by the company. And most specifically, our emails that we use, which is our main form of communication. I get literally myself sometimes over 1,000 emails per day. And it's our domain name is our email address. So nobody ever said anything otherwise. There would have been no reason for us to think that it wasn't. a part of the sale.
The initial offer was something like 75,000, is that correct?
Yes, I believe so.
It was, eventually you ended up selling it for 50,000, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
If it was clear to you that the domain name was not owned by Epic Title Services at the time of your negotiations, would that have impacted the outcome of the negotiations?
We would not have bought Epic Title from Darren or from Pecan Ventures or whoever owned it. If that was the case, we would have just went ahead and went through with exclusive title.
Okay.
This turned into a Me Too case real quick. I don't think so. It just justified why they said, oh yes, you're a great businessman, but we're going to go a different way. If the defendant had not brought that up as essentially as a defense, they wouldn't be talking about it. The witness claps. She might. Find a tie, Flux. I'm not going to be the only one here
I
struggling.
don't think I have anything further, Judge.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Allen. Any cross for our witness?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Here, we might as well have some, right? Good afternoon, ma'am. On Exhibit D, you were asked questions about your employment contract, and that clearly states Pecan Ventures. Is that correct?
It is correct.
Did you read it before you signed it?
We did read it before we signed it, yes.
So you knew it wasn't Epic Title Services LLC, it was Pecan Ventures,
But
correct?
like I said, everything was flipped over.
Is that a
and we were
yes or no?
Started to be paid.
Judge,
I'm going to object. Can we allow the witness to answer the question?
it was a yes or no question.
Ask the question again.
Okay. Ask the question. I'll
She's feisty.
if you want it, I'll give you my instruction before you ask it. I want to give her a little bit of room to explain her answer.
Okay. My question was, at first I asked you if you signed it, read it before you signed it. You said, yeah, and then I said, and it was with Pecan Ventures, not Epic Title Services LLC, correct?
So it was our understanding, yes, you are correct, but it was our understanding that everything was transferred over.
Hey, welcome, is it Shenanigram? Am I pronouncing it right?
One of the reasons for your employment, as well as Ms. Leonardo, was that you had a lot of relationships in the business, is that correct?
That's correct. That's one of the reasons we're still as successful as we are.
Okay. And so you wanted to be the face of the business, correct?
We did want to be the face of the business, but we
Okay.
were brought on thinking we were owners.
Okay.
And in fact, the compensation says after 1 year of employment, it says years, but the employee will be entitled to 3% stock ownership at which can be purchased for $30 per share. That's what it said when you signed this, right?
Can you read that whole paragraph, please?
Yeah, as compensation for the services provided, well, here, I'll let you read it. Why don't you read it?
Okay.
Yeah. 1163562. You've been here before. I think you watched part 3 with us as well. But yeah, part 1 and 2. Obviously, you got to watch the story from the beginning, right? Or else you're kind of lost. Probably a good idea. But right now, we're just judging my tie making skills, so you could stick around for that, or tying skills, I suppose.
So it says, as compensation for the services provided, the employee shall be paid a wage of $50,000 annually and will be subject to a quarterly/annual performance review. All payments shall be subject to mandatory employment deductions. Additionally, the employee shall be entitled to 3% of the profit share revenue compiled monthly, which are to be after cost but before ownership distribution. And then,
About half a
after
bow tie.
1 years of employment, the employee will be entitled to 3% stock ownership. So, yes, it does say that in that second part, but in the first part, it still says that we're getting 3% distribution, so you can understand where we've never been owners of a company before, why we might have been confused by that.
You're not disputing that it says what it says and it did at the time you signed
The
it?
second sentence does say that, but the first sentence also says that we're gonna be getting 3% a month, which I do think the wording was done that
Profit
way on
share
purpose.
revenue compiled monthly does not state ownership. Do you agree?
I don't agree with you. At that time when I signed it, that was not my interpretation of that, and that is not what we were told.
But you read it before
I
you
did
signed
read it, but again,
And
I
you-
was never the owner of a company before, so to me, that 3% profit share per month was ownership, because that is what we were verbally told.
So what you were verbally told, is that different than what's contained in this contract?
We were told we were owners and that we were 3%, each 3% owners of the company.
But this says something different than that, right?
It depends on, I guess, how it's interpreted.
Okay.
It's up for interpretation.
Well, the court can interpret it. I think it's kind of irrelevant at this point anyways, with it being an employment contract prior to the sale. But nevertheless, do you know who
I don't
owns
know, Joan.
Pecan Ventures LLC?
I believe,
Not do you
It's-
believe, do you know?
I don't know, because
Okay, thank you. We heard some testimony about the website, and the website while you were working there, and then after you bought it, and heard how it was kind of crappy. Would that be a fair statement?
absolutely.
Okay,
It's still
but you
kinda
guys have had
crappy.
a year to change it, and it remains the same, is that correct?
Yes, because we follow court orders and we're supposed to stay in status quo right now with the website. So we can't do anything with it. We've built a beautiful new website that we can't do anything with.
Well, the website, when I looked at it and asked Ms. Leonardo questions about it, it looks a little different than what it might have been, so somebody changed it. Would you agree with that?
I don't know who changed it, or if it was just a function of the website that something happened, but we have not made any changes to it personally since we were told it has to remain in status quo.
You have, like you said, relationships with tons of people in the industry, right? And so they have your cell phone, I take it. Is that yes? You have to say yes for the record, I'm sorry.
Yes, they do.
Okay. And so, did any of them call you and say, hey, Ms. Lusby, your website's down, lucky I know how to get a hold of you?
One of our agents did reach out to me. That is how we found out that the website was down and showing Epic Title Ventures instead of Epic Title Services.
Which agent was that?
His name is Matt Wilhide.
Matt what?
Wilhide.
Will Hyde? Who does he work for?
He's an EXP agent.
Tell me what that means, I don't know.
EXP is a real estate brokerage, same as Darren's real estate brokerage.
Okay. And where's his office out of?
I believe EXP is a little bit weird. They don't necessarily have brick and mortar everywhere, but I believe his main office is in Northville.
Okay. You didn't, because he was able to reach you, you didn't lose any business because
Well,
he
no,
could reach
he
you, right?
is also a friend of mine.
Okay.
So he called to let me know. That doesn't mean that we didn't lose any business. It just means that he cared enough to let me know that it was happening.
And when did he let you know?
He let me know, I believe it was probably, I don't know the exact date.
Do you know the month?
Yeah, in June,
2022?
correct.
Before you signed Exhibit B, the membership interest purchase agreement and release, I take it you read that,
Correct.
and did you have any questions on that document?
We negotiated that document back and forth quite a bit, so all of our questions were answered before we signed everything.
So you knew what you were signing when you signed it, you were comfortable in signing it, correct?
Correct.
Epic Title Services is a title company. They handle real estate transactions generally for real estate agents and brokers and mortgagers and things like that. They're the ones that search the title, make sure the title is good. They provide insurance for the title and things like that. That's what they're doing. It sounds like Pecan Ventures, which is the other company that the defendant owns, is also a real estate agent of some sort.
And who's listed as seller on that document? If you want to look at it, you can.
The seller is listed as Christina Candleberry,
Okay.
just like we've established.
I'm also doing
And
this
you were asked
without a
questions
mirror, Brandon.
about your affidavit in that email, which is Exhibit 1. You recall that?
So yeah, not my affidavit, but yes.
Okay.
I think I
well,
failed.
You also
got
signed
close.
a similar affidavit in October of 2022.
Are you sure? Do you have a copy of it?
Sure. We can make it an exhibit. That's fine. Oh, is it up there already? No wonder I can't find it. It's already right in front of me.
Yeah, what DA Val says. They do all kinds of stuff.
If I may approach the witness, I'm showing her what was marked as Exhibit 3 in plaintiff's motion for summary disposition. Your
Wait,
Honor,
wait,
it's
how's
already
that
a
look?
document
I can't
that
tell.
is, in the
Ooh.
court file.
You know what?
Thank you.
This isn't bad for not having a mirror, right? It's a little janky. But I'm not looking at a mirror, and this is obviously twisted. I'm going to call this successful, though, right? This is, see, you got to be in front of a mirror and fix it. But otherwise, I'm going to call that good. I think I did it.
Oops.
Okay. So I haven't seen this since I signed it.
Okay, take some time and read through it if you like.
Okay.
Pee Wee Herman cute. I'll take it. I take off the shirt and put on some suspenders. I like this bow tie. This is a nice. I've worn this a few times. Not bad. I'm gonna call this good.
I'm good. I'm sure I can skim it to answer any questions.
Okay.
Not bad. 5 out of 7.
Paragraph
I'll take the
14.
5 out of 7.
Okay.
We did not get along, well, it says despite the work we did for Epic Title, and you did a lot of work for Epic Title, right?
We did.
You guys helped build it up, right?
Absolutely.
And then you got to a point where you said either you sell it to us, Candleberry, or else we're walking and we're taking everybody with us, right?
Well, we had the conversation with Darren, not with Christina, but we didn't say it like that, no.
Okay. Does that email that you sent on April, I believe,
That's
21st?
exactly right, Brandon.
Does that give two options? An option to purchase and an option not to purchase?
So again, I don't have a copy of that email.
I think you only
I
had
think
one
the court
copy and
has,
the judge
the court
has.
has my copy.
Which one do you need?
Exhibit 1.
I'm wearing this tie for the rest of the stream.
It's just one page. It's the email.
It's exhibit 1. I don't think I
Yeah.
grabbed it.
Sure.
No, I might have, but.
Let me look up here to make sure it's not up here either.
You had it attached to something. Was it attached in here?
We're missing exhibits
Remember you said-
again,
another spot?
but this time it's on the defense, not me.
Somewhere.
It's attached to the summary motion that you
Is that
have.
in this?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah,
I-
let me look.
Chippendale style, take it off.
My eyes are bad, so I literally have to have it right in front of me to be able to read it.
I'm just glad I remembered my glasses after lunch, because I was going to be in trouble.
Did you find it?
I didn't yet. Judge, did you find it?
Sir, I tied my tie. There was no time limit the first go around.
It was in there somewhere. Was it in
Yes, I
this?
made 3,000 subs. Thank you. Yeah,
Exhibit you wanted to do.
it's awesome.
This is the analytics.
Oh, here, I have a copy of
Oh,
Okay.
it. It's just that copy.
Okay, well, I'll find the original.
Okay.
I haven't
I'll
been
look to make
ignoring you,
sure I-
have I?
okay.
I'm sorry,
Do you recall-
Louise,
oh, take a
if
minute
I've
to
been
read
ignoring you.
You sure that one will
I
suffice?
gotta go look for your
It's
chat.
the exact same.
Okay.
Yes, I do recall.
You laughed at me.
Okay. And what options does that give for the continuation and/or sale of the LLC, of Epic Title Services LLC?
So it gives two options. The first one is for us to buy it effective September of 2020. We assume the tax liability for the 2020 tax season, which we were estimating at 15,000, we weren't sure. We take on the current tax liability for the 2021 tax season. So far, again, we were estimating that to be 15,000 at that time. We pay you an additional 75,000 right now to buy Epic Title. We immediately are responsible
I'll be right
for
back, folks.
paying employees after purchasing Epic from you. And then this would be a value of 105,000 as a whole, as you would not be responsible for any of the taxes for 2020 and 2021. And then the second option was, we do not buy Epic Title, as you will be finding replacements for Heather and Amy and the team. Our last date of employment with Epic Title will be April 30th of 2021. Epic Title would be responsible for the tax liability for 2020 and 2021. Epic Title would be paying current employee salaries until April 30th. The bank account would most likely have a balance of around 40, I can't see what that says, 40,000?
Got my glasses?
No, that's okay. I'm literally blind, it's not even funny. Essentially, this would leave Epic, after paying salaries with taxes, the potential profit of 10,000.
Okay. And so that was your email saying, hey, if either you sell us the company or we're walking in what, a week? Is that the time frame you gave them?
Well, we had been having conversations prior to this. This was just putting everything in writing. This
Okay.
was, and the second option was really the option that they were wanting, that Darren mentioned, no, we're not selling
For
it to you.
Brandon.
So this was just me clarifying, here's what we're offering, here's what you're saying, and this is what it looks like.
Okay. And then at the bottom of that page, there's a circled paragraph. You see the circled paragraph?
Yep.
Can you read that for the record?
Darren, we get that this is a super emotional topic, but we wanted to speak in business terms. We do believe that you are a great businessman, and we feel it's unfortunate that we can't align. We wanted to put this out there for you to better understand our point of view.
And then in your affidavit, you state that we did not think he was a very good businessman in paragraph 14, correct?
But I did already answer that question.
Okay.
I
I
mean-
thought we got to that and we moved on.
Yeah, I did already answer that question. He, the things that he said to us about other people, we had to, this was the easiest way out. We didn't want it to be bad, we didn't want it to be ugly, so we were trying to placate him and to hopefully avoid having to go through all of this.
Can I?
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay. And,
Sorry.
that's okay. And also with that then, you're basically putting us back up against the wall, saying you sell or we're walking, you got no team, you got closings coming up, too bad for you, we're out.
No, because the second option was what he wanted. So we were willing to, actually, what we ended up doing with the joint venture was super beneficial to him and his team. We have never done a joint venture where the other partner makes that big of a profit. We did that for them because of the fact that Christina was Amy's sister-in-law. We didn't want to burn that bridge. So actually, we felt like we were being very accommodating and very kind, and we didn't want to leave them high and dry.
Okay. Do you know of any document that states that the domain name came with the sale?
There was
Hey,
no
Jonathan,
document.
welcome.
Okay. And when you're doing the joint venture, was there a website for the joint venture?
We do not, as the company that
Thanks.
houses the joint venture, we do not create
Spent a lot of
websites for our
time
joint
working on
ventures.
this.
That is our joint venture partner's responsibility.
So that would have been Mr. Petterfee?
Exactly.
Okay, and did he create one to your knowledge?
I actually don't know that.
Okay.
Right, yeah, it would
And
obviously go with the
ultimately-
sale. It wasn't excluded.
After the back and forth, Exhibit B was created, and that's your signature on the second to last page, is that correct?
So is Exhibit B the
I'm
purchase and
sorry,
sale agreement?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, yeah, it is.
That's your signature, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And then on the following page, there's a consent resolution by the members of Epic Title Services LLC. Do you recall that?
I don't recall it off the top of my head.
Sorry, I'm just testing your eyes.
I know.
Apologize.
AutoZone is absolutely horrible. I hate working on cars, but I do it a lot. Unfortunately, I was messing with concrete all
Okay.
morning.
Okay.
That was
Does
my
that
morning.
help refresh your recollection?
Yeah, I remember signing that.
Okay. And basically that says, hey, Amy Leonardo and Heather Lusby are the owners of the Epic Title Services LLC, and you elected both of you as managers of the company,
Correct.
correct? And it's dated January 14, 2020, but we've heard previous testimony that you didn't actually buy the company
Maybe.
until May 7th of 2021, and that was backdated,
For
non
IRS
pro tunc,
purposes.
there's my second Latin,
For
for the
IRS.
tax purposes,
Correct.
correct? Okay.
Actually, I have two. Two beers. That's all. My client said she's
The
coming on the
domain
next
name
stream.
we're talking about here is epictitlemi.com, is that correct?
That is correct.
And the name of the company you bought is Epic Title Services LLC, correct?
That is correct.
Have you ever looked into purchasing epictitleservices.com?
When this first started, I believe we did try to look and see if there were any other domains available just to try to avoid this. However, the problem is all of our emails and business is run through epictitlemi.com. We, again, would not have purchased Epic Title had we known that this was going to be the outcome. We never would have went through this. We would have just completely went with exclusive title.
Okay, then why isn't that specifically included in the agreement, that, hey, here's what we're getting for this?
Because it was a stock purchase agreement, so everything with the company, it was supposed to stay the same, right? So we were already using that website, we were already using that domain, we were already using that for our emails. Our phone number stayed the same. We didn't keep Darren's 866-2B Epic number, we just didn't like the number. But we kept our main phone number and all of our extensions. So we had no reason to believe that our domain was not a part of that.
And you didn't specifically ask about that either, did you?
The domain?
Yes.
We did not, because we had no reason to believe that it was not included. Everything else stayed the same.
So it wasn't mentioned in any documents that were signed saying, hey, by the way, I own this personally, but I'm giving it to you in this deal.
That's correct.
If I may have one moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
This is why contract lawyers are going to squeeze you. Yeah. So the purchase agreement was drafted by an attorney, a very good attorney, who testified on the first day. And he did everything that you were supposed to. It doesn't prevent people from still violating the contract, right? That's why there's breach of contract issues. And that's why we brought the case we brought.
Prior to the purchase, there was a specific inquiry as to the copy machine, whether that came with the deal or not, right?
Not that I recall.
Okay. The computers, is there any mention of those?
Again, I cannot recall.
There was never an asset list saying, here's what's coming with this?
No?
And there was never any specific inquiry as to the domain name, whether it came with it or not, correct?
No, I
I
answered
know,
that.
okay.
I need some glasses just so I can do the
And the domain name
same.
isn't the name of the company, correct?
The domain,
off and
but that's
point
with
with
a
them.
lot of title companies. It's not abnormal for our industry.
Ooh, what kind of camera did
Thank
you
you, I
get,
have no
Flux?
further questions. Thank you.
Mr. Helm, to be direct.
Yes, thank you. Did you ask specifically about whether or not the phone numbers were coming with the company?
No, we didn't.
Did you ask specifically whether or not the building was coming with the company?
We did not.
What about the computer equipment?
We did not.
What about the employees?
No.
What type of sale transfer was this, as you understood it to be?
We actually don't have the judge's opinion yet on this case, DA Val. So right now, our position is still the company
A
owns it.
stock sale or, equity sale, right? So we thought it was everything.
Company stays, the owners change.
Exactly.
I don't have a list. I don't know what I'm writing down or looking at.
You put your name on the bank account after the transfer was effectuated?
I think it was before that. Was it before that? Sorry.
Okay, so on or about somewhere in May 2021, you put your name on the bank accounts?
I believe that I was on the bank account from the very beginning. I could be wrong, but I thought that I was on the bank account from the very beginning. So like, from whenever we created that bank account in 2020.
Okay, when you say we created the bank account, you were hired in August of 2020, right?
Mhm.
Did the company have a bank account when you were hired?
No, it took us about 6 weeks to get the bank account up and running.
Okay. So there was no bank account with Epic Title Services when you were first employed and first paid?
Correct.
Sorry, Judge, am I up to Exhibit G, I believe? I admitted
I'll
F.
tell you what your last name was. I have F, so yours is G.
Henny
I've
was
never-
been marked as Exhibit G.
I've never been in front of this judge before, but I do have a trial scheduled with him, I think, in March, I think is when it is. So I will be up. He's a newer judge. He's only newer. He's 4 or 5 years, but I've never been in front of him before this. I really like him, though. And yes, I am streaming it. It's a little nerve-wracking. I thought I would have a decision by now, but nope, I'm streaming it before a
Do you
decision.
recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
What is this document?
This is it's one of our bank statements from Bank United.
Okay. Is this the bank account that you would eventually, or at some point, put your name on and
Yes.
is it a true, accurate representation of the bank statements from this bank account for randomly selected time periods?
Yes, it is.
Move to admit.
Mr. Everett, do you need more time to
Yeah, you
peruse
need
it?
a minute.
Yeah.
While he's looking over, I'll just ask a few more questions. Title Tap is the company that hosts the website, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And Epic Title Epic Title Services LLC continued to pay Title Tap even after May of 2021, correct?
Correct.
Does it still pay?
Yes.
I do not know, Indigo.
Do you know how often the GoDaddy account needs to be renewed?
I do not.
Do you know if it's been renewed?
I don't. I hope so, since it's supposed to stay status quo.
Oh, you guys got to go sub to Flux.
Oh, I,
Only
Judge, I don't
5
have
away.
any objection to it with the caveat that this goes beyond the scope of my cross-examination. It's introducing a whole new topic, so I wanted a chance to examine around these questions, these alone.
Set up and
I concur that it goes outside the scope. I conferred with defense counsel prior to me introducing these and said, hey, I forgot to introduce these, I'd like to do it, so.
Okay. So
And I said, no problem, but I just want to be
I'll
honest.
see you back up here in a few.
Thank
All right.
I move to admit Exhibit G then.
Okay, there's no
No,
objection.
no objection.
So the court will grant that request?
There you go.
I just put a link to Flux's channel in the chat. You guys should go sub if you're not sub.
So here's your copy of Exhibit G. And in here it indicates, has several highlights, and it just indicates that Epic Title Services LLC has continued to pay for the title tap services, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And everything else is redacted because it's not relevant?
Right.
Okay. Nothing further.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So we're gonna have a recross
Okay.
examination of you by Mr. Rabbit.
Thank you. Do you have exhibit
Then I
G
gotta
in
get a
front of you?
No, I don't.
redirect.
Run it back up to it.
Thank you.
All right. Do you have personal knowledge whether Title Tap is the website fee or the domain name fee?
I believe it is the website fee.
That's a different thing than the domain name fee, right?
Right,
Okay. And the sale of the business happened May 7th of 2021, correct?
correct.
What's the last date of entry for payment for Title Tap on this document, on the last page?
On the last page,
Yep.
this one says April 13th, 2021.
It's before the sale, right?
Correct.
No further questions. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. You're welcome. Okay. Ms. Busby, I just want to,
Bucks, you gotta go get a bow tie.
you stated earlier that, as this subject sale was about to take place, you didn't inquire as to what assets would come with the sale?
Right.
Okay, were you just trusting that it would be everything? You weren't curious at all?
Well, we had an attorney that wrote up all of our paperwork, and he explained the difference between an asset purchase and a stock purchase or an equity purchase to us. So we were under the impression that we were doing a stock or equity purchase, so there was really no need to ask about that, because everything would go with it.
Okay, okay. All right, it's a major purchase, so, but you pretty much, it may be.
That's why
okay.
we had an attorney.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Good. I think I'm all set. Attorney's all good?
No further questions from me.
Okay,
All set.
okay. All right, thank you, Ms. Busby. You are excused.
Oh, yes.
The bow tie is already on,
Your Honor, I
Brandon.
have no further witnesses at this time.
Okay.
I apologize. I do. I want to call Amy Leonardo back up because of the Google Analytics.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Now, did we lose a witness along the way that
We
you
did.
we were gonna call? Okay.
We lost a witness along the way. He had to go pick up his kids
Okay.
for his son from school. It is what it is.
I'm sorry about that.
So if you guys remember, I think from day 2, Amy Leonardo, or no, that's Heather Leonardo and Amy. I'm a mess. Anyways, the first witness I called, or the second witness I called rather, the woman in white. She had some Google Analytics that she was testifying to. The judge wanted her to log into her account so he could see it on the screen specifically, and she needed her login credentials. She was able to get those at lunch, so now I'm recalling her. Make up your mind. Yeah. Amy Leonardo and...
All right, yeah, Ms. Leonardo, if you wanna come back up?
Yeah, Amy Leonardo and Heather Lusby. That's right.
I don't have to
Heather
swear you
Lusby
back
and
in,
Amy
I'll just
Leonardo.
remind you that you're still under oath, okay?
Yes, I lost a witness. I lost a witness at lunch. It's not even the whole thing. I've still got some left. Yes. Yes, that's all it takes.
Ready, Judge?
Yep, I'll start.
Okay, thank you. I'm handing you what's been marked as proposed Exhibit H now, which is the Google Analytics. And you had previously testified that you got that information from Google Analytics. You went through all that. I'm not going to go through that again. But were you able to find and log into your account that tracks the data that you're using?
I was able to finally get in there.
Okay.
This is a bunch of
And
boring time of
what
me
is
looking at a
currently
computer
displayed
screen.
on my laptop? Is this the data that you used?
It is similar to the data. This says, I think the site changed a little bit because it says users rather than hits, but Google just did a GA4 update to it, so I don't know if that made the difference, but it coincides with what this says to what that says.
Can I come and take a look at this, Judge?
For sure.
I was trying to show you.
You showed me, it was too quick.
Nope. Brandon did not pay for tying of the tie. I will make that a yeah, he did not pay for tying of the tie.
Right-hand corner? Oh, it's right there.
Yes, Brandon said he would pay me $100 if I was able to
range.
tie a bow tie, and I did it on stream. He has not paid
Orange is
them.
22. These are the hits based off of the scale. It looks like 200.
And I'm celebrating my
Did you see
3,000
anywhere
subs
where
with the
Google's
view.
source?
So analytics.
Did you pay?
Uh,
I didn't see it. I got
Go to GA4.
$20. You owe me 80, sir.
Dismiss. Well, analytics is the. I almost forgot my mouse. Analytics is the. Like Google has a bunch of stuff. They have Google AdSense. They have Google Analytics. They have a bunch of things like that. If I don't want to mess anything up, but let me see here. This is Epic Title, MI. That's the website. The hits. Does it? This is your Gmail account that you're logged into. Well, there's the Google logo right there, Google Marketing Platform.
I'm satisfied.
Okay, thank you. So find it somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, while this, let me back up. When you were trying to find everything,
Sir, Brandon.
you had mentioned that Google did an update on their system.
They did, since I've done this, that is the update.
Is
So
that why
that's
it
all.
took you so hard
And
to
every
find
time
it?
I fuck up,
Okay. And
Farrell takes a
now
shot.
this is tracking hits as opposed to what?
That is tracking users, this is tracking hits. I
Okay.
don't know the difference, I haven't got any time to really look into it.
Okay, now you had looked at the, well, let me ask you this, foundational, I'm gonna leave her a little bit. You had looked at the exact numbers and compared them to these numbers on your sheet, correct?
I did,
Were they identical?
no.
Were they, were they off how much?
They're off between 10 and 20
10 and 20 users or hits?
hits users,
So
yes, but they
here, I can
coincide
actually show
with
you guys what we're talking about.
the
so this is the
statistics
diagram
as
here.
From your year.
Okay.
So
So
if
this
you
is
look,
tracking users on the,
sorry, let me pause this. So if you look at the, there you go. I had to get the chat out of the way. So if you look at the blue is 2021 and the gray is 2022. And you see that they were on track January, February, March, April, May. Their hits in 2022 were higher. Then in June of 2022, the website was shut down for like a week. And ever since then, the hits were consistently lower. They were on track to do above what they did in 2021 until June. So that's what this is the information that's being presented to the judge right now, or was presented earlier. Now she's going back over the numbers that were used to create this chart. So that's what's going on. And yeah, a big screen TV would be nice, but we don't have that.
laptop currently?
Users that, for the
Hey,
website.
can my client?
Hey,
confirm this?
John,
And
member
then
for
some
2
questions.
months. Thank you very
Sure, it's
much for
different
being a
than-
member
it's
for 2
different.
months. Someone
Yeah, it's
called
obviously
the
different.
Joe
It's
Newman
different
question.
than the exhibit, so.
I want everybody to be privy to this.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. I can print this, Paolo. Actually, it looks like I can export a report.
So Brandon,
So, okay, so this is tracking, it says identifies users here, correct?
Yes,
Now, it used to say hits, that's what you're saying?
it did.
Okay,
so we intended not to introduce this information. What my intent was to introduce the spreadsheet, which I just pulled up. But the judge wanted to look at the raw data on the Google Analytics account specifically because there was a challenge to the foundation, the credibility of the information. So the judge said, show me a website that says Google and where you got this data from, and I'll admit it. So we're literally just hovering over the laptop in order to establish foundational stuff for the spreadsheet and everything that I just showed you.
and I believe when you and I were looking at it, it said something like Google G4 has now been updated, you need to log back in and do all this, do you recall
Yes.
that? Okay.
This is the laptop that I streamed from, folks.
So, on this page here too, tell me what year, I guess, or what time frame you're looking at.
So in the blue, it's from January 2021 to December, the beginning of January 2021 to the end of December 2021 is the blue. And then the orange line is January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022. And that's the orange.
Okay, so this is the entire year tracking both 2021 and 2022?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. And here it indicates around mid-May or so a decline in users for 2022, is that correct?
That's correct.
And is that consistent with the bar graph that you have created on Exhibit D? Maybe not the exact numbers, but at
It's
least
correct.
a trend.
Yeah.
It's tracking the
Yes.
trend that, okay, and then prior to mid-May,
Lux, I
you-
just subbed on
the
all
hits
of
were
my
higher,
accounts that I had not subbed on.
in
me know where you are.
2022 than in 2021, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And since June 2022, the hits have been consistently lower.
Lower than 21. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. That's what I wanted to
I don't know what that
establish.
is, but
I'd
I
be
wish
able
they did
to
too, Jonathan.
Print out an expert
Actually-
report, or I'm not sure how the.
I need a custom computer built. I need a custom computer for doing the streaming. There's a couple of local guys, which I'm going to go get some prices from. But if anyone out there knows somebody who's good at building computers, let me know. Shoot me an email, message, DM, or something.
Court wants to take this in. The main purpose is I wanted to show the differences, which is contained in the bar graph of Exhibit H. So I'm fine with doing that as long as the court is qualified or satisfied with the foundational, rather than printing out something else.
Chandler, Brandon owes me $80.
I want to give Mr. Abbott an opportunity to
Cross?
Yep, to cross. And if you need, I realize this is kind of fast, so if you need time to,
Yeah, if you need
yeah,
me.
take your time.
It's almost done.
I appreciate the court's indulgences with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's, with the jury trial it may be different, but I think we have a little more wiggle room here.
I have faith in
I
your
do
honor
prefer
to sort
bench
out
trials.
the evidence.
And, the objective here is to get to the truth.
Well, a judge
the
that says the
merits.
objective
I'm not
is to
looking
get to
to-
the truth. This is why I like this judge. I think the next trial I have in front of him is a jury trial. Farrell, get on stream. I sent you a link.
I feel like it's getting a little warmer.
Come on, everyone tell Farrell to get on here with me.
Do you have plenty of water?
Yeah, I'm good.
We just don't have enough cool air.
Get on stream,
Yeah,
show
that's
us your
the
face.
It's tough
take
cooling
some
down big
shots.
buildings like this.
Yeah.
You know what? I have a micro center near me, close enough anyways I can go
My
to.
phone, is it still hooked up to
I
the
might
internet?
go there.
I think I went too far.
It is still hooked up. We can do it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, and just to help you know, you need to be looking at that screen? or-
I just have a couple of questions.
Okay, all right, all set.
Ma'am, on that screen, what that demonstrates for 2022 is that there was a steady decline in web traffic for the rest of the year of 2022. Is that correct?
It looks like June on for the last half of the year.
And you moved to Oakland County when?
June of 2022.
No further questions. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right,
One brief follow-up, if I may, Judge.
okay.
This is not,
Hold on, any objection to that, Mr. Abbott?
Well, I kind of do.
that's okay, don't worry about it, I'm fine.
Okay.
I don't need another question, we're okay.
Okay, so that would have been a recross.
We did a
but
pre-trial agreement that we would not go into redirect and things like that.
Let me ask you, Ms. Leonardo, do you think the difference between users and hits, is it possible then that a user can have multiple hits? Is that?
I honestly, I'm
Come on,
not sure
Indigo.
what the difference is. I know the word's different. I don't know what the difference between user and hits are.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But the trends kind of run the same.
Right. Okay, well, good. I'm content here. Looks like, any follow-up?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Just gonna grab my laptop,
Okay, Ms. Leonardo, that's gonna do it. The second time.
and I have no further witnesses.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, take that.
Is that your mouse?
I got my mouse.
Oh.
Okay, do we plow into the defense direct? We keep going. Let's see, we're at 4:30. I think we have another 3 hours left. We'll keep going for a bit.
Okay,
Probably
we'll
do another
transition.
30 minutes. We'll see where we
Go
are.
across the aisle. And Mr. Epic, do you have any witnesses you want to call on behalf of your client?
We do, Your Honor, may it please the court, Mr. Pepper, on behalf of Darren Petterfy, we call Mr. Pepper.
Okay.
If you
Flex,
go
what are
up
your
to
numbers
raise your
at?
hand, stand up there. He can take his water. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Did I gather your notepads or did you guys just leave them?
Okay, Mr. Petterfy. Is it Petterfy?
Petterfy.
Petterfy. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Use the door or the ramp?
Listen to the door.
Yeah.
Did you use
Stairs or the window, whichever.
Get comfortable in that chair there. All right, and I'll have you state your full name on the record, spell each part of it for us, please.
Darren Thomas Petterfy, DarrenThomas
Okay. Mr. Petterfy, and as far as our next break, we'll do it at a natural pause, whether it be after direct,
Yeah, she's still looking for her bow
cross,
tie.
or if we in fact need a break, but we'll see how it goes.
Sounds good,
All
thank
right,
you, Your
yes.
Honor.
All right.
Good afternoon, Mr. Petterfy.
Hello.
All right, we've heard a lot of stuff. We've heard a lot of testimony, so now it's your turn to tell us what you
That's not a
know.
question. Objection. I
Who
don't know.
created Epic Title Services LLC?
Christy Campbell.
And who is she to you, if anyone?
She is a business partner in another entity.
I look very unamused at this moment.
Was Epic Title Services LLC your main source of income?
No, it was not.
Okay. What is your main source of income?
Real estate sales.
How long have you been in real estate sales?
Farrell, you won't stream and chug a beer, you coward. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Farrell, Flux, Chandler C, you won't stream and drink, you cowards. There we go. I haven't sent Flux a link, or C-Swept, or Chandler. No, maybe I sent Chandler a link.
7 years?
Okay.
Give
Somewhere
or
right
take.
around
20
there?
20 some odd years, yes.
Okay. And do you own your own company?
Yes, I do.
What's the name of the company?
Petterfy Canterbury Inc.
How many people do you employ?
We employed 2 full-time staff, and then 18 agents that are subcontractors.
I asked you who owned Epic Title Services LLC after it was formed?
Christy Campbell.
Who
I've had
sold
one
Epic
beer.
Title Services
just
LLC
finished
to
one.
Ms. Lusby and Ms. Leonardo?
I'm going to open my
Christy Campbell.
second.
And we've reviewed Exhibit B, and I'll show it to you for...
Brandon said he was going to pay me $100 if I tied a bow tie, and I tied it, but he has not paid. So that's where we are, Baker.
You familiar with that document?
Yes, we've reviewed it many times.
Even more so after today, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, right. C-Swept. Okay, so Brandon was out drank. The ladies out drank him last night, and he's still calling.
Who is listed as the seller on that document?
Christina Canterbury.
You heard some testimony about, well, we weren't sure who the owners were, so we did all this and that. Did anyone ever ask you prior to the sale, are you the owner?
Nobody's ever asked me.
What was your role at Epic Title Services LLC after it was formed in January of 2020?
As a manager.
And did you in fact hire Ms. Leonardo and Ms. Lusby?
I did.
Okay. And what company actually hired them?
Pecan Ventures.
Okay. Is that a company owned by you?
Yes, it's owned by myself and Christina.
Okay, and I'm going to show you Exhibit D, which is the one printed copy we had of that employment contract. Ask you to take a look at it.
Okay.
Okay. Does that appear to be the employment contract you were talking about?
It does indeed.
Okay. Does that mention Epic Title Epic Title Services LLC anywhere on it?
It does not.
What's Epic Title Ventures LLC?
What is it?
What is it? Or what
Epic-
was it?
Epic Title Ventures was a joint venture that was formed after the sale of Epic Title Services.
Okay. And does it, all right, in on exhibit, what?
We could talk about contract law. So, Brandon made a written offer that was displayed on the screen and is contained in chat and is preserved. I accepted said offer verbally. That is a valid binding contract. So, right now, Brandon is in breach of contract.
Number is that?
D?
D. Did that grant the, either Ms. Lusby or Ms. Leonardo, any ownership interest upon signing the document?
Upon signing it, no.
Okay. Did it offer them the opportunity to become an owner?
Yes, it does.
Tell us what that says in the contract.
What it says is that they were entitled to 3% of the profit share revenue generated to Pecan Ventures, and after 1 year of employment, they'd be entitled to an opportunity to purchase 3% stock ownership for $30 per share.
Was that ever done?
No, it was not.
Did they ever work under that employment agreement for a complete year?
No, they did not.
Okay. What happened?
They ultimately ended up purchasing the company prior to the year after the
Just based off of this guy's first few minutes of direct examination, what are your thoughts on him? Do you find him credible? Do you find him whatever? What are your thoughts? I just want to know in the chat.
business relationship declined.
You heard some testimony about
Farrell, you won't stream and chug a beer, you coward. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Show me the chat. By the way, sir, I've already shown you the chat, but I would do it again. I've already retained Ghazni and Braca. You're misleading the court at best. All right.
two different kind of polar opposites where they said you were a great businessman and then not a good businessman. Do you believe that was done just to stroke your ego so you'd come through with the sale?
Calls for
Honestly, I believe they'll
speculation,
say
but I like
whatever
his
they-
answer.
Whatever fits them at the moment to get what they want to get.
I'm gonna object, calls for speculation.
There we
I
go.
asked for opinion.
He's not an expert to offer an opinion.
It's a lay opinion test, opinion.
Okay.
There's no expert testimony needed to say whether or not he thinks they'll say whatever they want to get whatever they want.
He's asking the witness to speculate as to the motivations without any sort of foundation. So if we're gonna go that route, to lay opinion as to my client's motivations. First, we need more foundation. But secondly, I don't think it's appropriate, it's calling for him to speculate.
Okay. I'll sustain the objection unless you, and if you want to get into it
I think that's
further.
number 14.
Oh, I think we've
14 objections sustained in this case by me. Thank you. Brandon, here you go. I will pay David $100 if he ties a proper tie, or bow tie. There you go. There you got it. It's up on screen. Are you looking? Farrell, you won't stream and chug a beer, you coward. Are you watching?
I think we've got into it I was just one simple question, Judge.
Okay.
So if they're objecting to it, hey, that's fine. We heard what both of them had to say about it.
Okay,
One statement was true and one was false.
okay.
Does that document exhibit B, the sales agreement? Does that have you selling anything at all?
No, it does not.
What
Farrell, you won't stream and chug a beer, you coward, with the $4.99 super chat. What name? Well, sir, you go by various names, including Let's Go Brandon, Let's Go, Val, you won't chug a beer, you coward, all kinds of names. But it's you. At the end of the day, it's you.
was represented by the $20,000 that you were to receive pursuant to that document?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What is represented by the $20,000 that you received in that document? What was that for?
Reimbursement for investments that had been made into the company.
And
I think what they're really trying to go at is that he's not the business owner. Their position is that he doesn't own the business. And so if my clients are saying, well, we didn't want to do business with him, he's a bad business owner, he's a bad businessman, that wouldn't really make a difference if he doesn't own the business, I guess. I don't really know why this is a big deal, except it hurts his ego, which I'm all for.
you were listed as what on that document? What's the title? There's a buyer's, there's
And
a seller.
I'm a releasing party.
Okay. And then you're also, there's two other signatures on there too for you.
Pecan
right?
Ventures as a releasing party, Epic Real Estate Ventures as a releasing party, and then myself individually.
Okay. And that was Rich Zabo ever an owner of Epic Title Services
No, he was
LLC?
not.
Let's talk about the domain name. Who bought the domain name?
I
And
did.
by the domain name, I should say epictitlemi.com.
I did personally,
When did you buy that?
before the formation of the company.
Did you ever transfer, so that was your own personal asset?
It was my own personal, I bought it personally with my own funds as well.
Okay. How many domain names do you own?
I think it's currently at 96.
Okay. Tell us.
I feel like we need at least some binding arbitration going on, right? There at least needs to be some arbitration.
The difference between a domain name and a website.
A domain name is the address in which a website is parked. So your car is parked in the driveway 123 Main, the web domain is the 123 Main. The DNS number, which is what GoDaddy refers to as the main location, is what they have as their address.
Okay. Who, do you have to pay only once for a domain name, or does it have to be maintained monthly, yearly?
Yearly, it has to be renewed yearly.
It has to be renewed yearly. What happens if you don't renew it?
Becomes inactive.
Okay. And then somebody else could buy it?
Somebody else can purchase.
And,
Yeah, I had asked for that a little bit ago. 1163562. This guy is giving me the creeps. Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to know. How do you guys feel about this guy thus far? And I know I got caught up in the whole Brandon thing. I'm going to ignore Brandon for a minute. I'm going to focus on the chat and my question. What do you guys think of this guy thus far, just with the statements that he's given?
we had Exhibit G that was submitted by the plaintiffs. What does that list that they're showing for money coming out of a bank account?
It is for the website in which Title Tap hosted.
So that's a whole different fee than the GoDaddy fee, right?
Correct.
And on that document, what's the last date that money came out for Title Tap?
April
I didn't even catch his middle name. What's his middle name?
13th, 2021,
Was that before or after the sale of the business?
before.
Tell us how this sale came about, the sale of Epic Title Services LLC to Ms. Leonardo and Ms. Lusby.
I was notified by email that their intent was to either leave the company and take all the employees with them, and leave all the current orders open, unfulfilled, or sell them the business and they'll fulfill and continue keep working and set as Epic Title.
And it was Christina Cattleberry who had to sell the business to them?
Correct.
Farrell, you won't stream, and Chug a Beer, you coward, with a $4.99 super chat. I hope you like motion practice, sir. I do like motion practice. I do like motion practice. Bring your motions.
There was some testimony about Ms. Leonardo and Ms. Lusby creating Exclusive Title Agency LLC. Do you recall that?
I do.
Were you aware of that at the time it was created?
I was not.
Were they working for Pecan Ventures under that employment agreement, which is one of the exhibits you have there?
Yes, they were.
And you heard testimony, how they went to the underwriters to discuss getting this company going?
I did.
Do those underwriters, was that a specific business relationship with Epic Title Services LLC at that time?
Yes, it was.
Is the sale of the
Thomas?
domain name in any of the closing documents? Any document in the sale whatsoever?
It is not.
Did anyone ever ask you, hey, am I getting this domain name along with this sale?
They did not.
Were, and I take it, you were the manager of the company, right?
Correct.
So you had some go-between with Ms. Cantleberry, the
Correct.
seller. Were any subjects regarding office equipment, the physical location, the copier, anything like that, was that asked about prior to the sale on May 7th of 2021?
Multiple times.
Tell us what was asked about.
They
I'm
wanted
sorry, can we object as to who?
Members,
Okay.
the members,
Hang on, tell us who was asking you about that first?
both Heather Lesby and Amy Leonardo, as the members of Epic, managers there, were inquiring as to what comes with the operation, so they know whether they need to purchase new equipment or not. And I stated that the computers and the monitors and such would go with the business because it's on site, and that way you could continue to operate from a physical standpoint, as well as they would need to renew the lease into their names for the building.
No, this is no emotion needed in this at all. This is a straight logical decision, rational decision. But the intent of the parties is definitely something that the judge needs to assess, because the contract doesn't say specifically what are the assets of the company. Nobody ever wrote down the assets of the company. So the intent needs to be inferred.
Tell us how the joint venture between Epic Ventures, is it Epic Title Ventures?
Epic Title Ventures.
And Ms. Leonardo and Ms. Lusby came to be.
Well, as a compensatory opportunity, because of the relationship in what I feel is the relationship between the two sister-in-laws, wanted to allow us to continue closing our transactions that were currently in operation. They created the joint venture to help offset that situation.
And how long did that operate?
I think about 11 months.
Hey, MGLR, you're live. Welcome. I heard you had quite the night last night after I left Discord.
Which entity paid Ms. Lusby and Ms. Leonardo the $50,000 salaries in the employment agreement?
Pecan Ventures did.
Yeah, remember too, so the timeline is, right, so the company is formed in January of 2020. It sort of kind of, it exists on paper only until like August of 2020 when my ladies are hired. Then they build the business and operate it through January of 2020, or 2021 rather, when they decide that they want to either go their own way or purchase the business. They make the offer. It goes back and forth. They start negotiating. In May of 2021, the company is purchased, but it's backdated to January of 2020. Now, May of 2021, it's purchased. Everything continues to operate. The website continues to operate. Everything goes no problem. They build out a new website. They're getting ready to launch it. And they realize they don't have all the login credentials that they need. So in October of 2021, so this is June, July, August, September, October. This is 5 months after the sale, and a whole like 9 months from when they started talking about buying the business, that the website has continued to operate no problem, no interference whatsoever. The company is paying the hosting fees and all that stuff. They reach out to him in October and say, hey, we need the logins. And then he says, oh, I own it and you can't have it. You can buy it for $1 million, $10,000. Doesn't matter, whatever his offer was. He doesn't say anything until October when they ask him for the login credentials. Then they decide, well, we're not going to pay him. So they switch it over themselves. And then he switches it back and causes the website to be shut down. That's when we file suit. That's in early November of 2021. So if he truly owned it, then why wouldn't it have shut down? Why wouldn't he have been paid a lease fee for it or whatever? None of this makes sense if he truly owned it. So that's why I don't believe his story.
Did Ms. Leonardo and Ms. Lusby solicit business from any of Pecan Ventures clients?
Yes, they did.
Do you know how many?
I'm going to object as to the relevance.
Okay,
Well,
can you help us?
yeah, I can. We've gone into the joint venture agreement. We've gone into the employment contract and what was contained in that, and we're looking at the sale. So the question is whether or not they took the business with them.
So the joint venture agreement was admitted specifically with the limited purpose of the first paragraph, which says that there's supposed to be an LLC created and it operates as its own separate entity. That was admitted specifically because of the questions asked on cross-examination of Ms. Leonardo. That was its very limited admission. So anything else outside of that is irrelevant to this personal thing. Also, with regard to the employment contract and the violations of it, paragraph 8, I believe it's paragraph 8, or whatever paragraph it is that talks about it, it is while employed. So it doesn't matter what happens after they are no longer employed.
And what's the question, Mr. Abbott?
I don't know. I don't remember, Judge. If he's objecting to it, I don't think it's gonna make or break. I can move on.
Okay.
That's
If
fine.
you remember,
It was about whether they solicited business from clients or employees of Pecan Ventures
okay,
after the employment agreement.
so it would be beyond the scope of the provision 8?
Yeah, and I would also add that there's no counterclaim here regarding breach of.
Farrell is mad and C-Swept wants attention. Coward with a $4.99 super chat. Is this better? I think it's better. I love my chat trolling my chat. I've had a beer and a half. I'm doing really good.
Contract or breach of non-compete agreements or anything like that. It's not relevant to anything.
Hey, Brett.
All right, we'll move on. All right, thank you, Mr. Abbott.
After May 7th, 2021, what involvement did you have with Epic besides the joint venture?
None.
Aren't you stuck with this? By the way, Farrell, aren't you stuck with this name for like a week now? I don't think you could change it right away. Oh, damn it. I hit the wrong button. I went all the way back. Do you remember where we were? I'm hitting buttons.
Cross-examination of Ms. Leonardo. That was its very limited admission. So
I had to back
anything
up
else
a
outside
touchdown,
of that
sorry.
is irrelevant to this person or to this person.
Farrell got me all frazzled.
Also, with regard to the employment contract and the violations of it, paragraph 8, I believe it's paragraph 8, or whatever paragraph it is that talks about it, it is while employed. So it doesn't matter what happens after they are no longer employed.
My wife went out of town for a day or two, so I'm not running. So that's why I have the 2 beers. This
What's
is
the
it.
question,
That's
Mr.
literally
Abbott?
it. That's
I
all I
don't
have in
know.
the house.
I don't remember, Judge. If he's objecting to it, I don't think it's gonna make or break. I can move on.
Okay.
That's
If
fine.
you remember,
It was about whether they solicited business from clients or employees Pecan Ventures
Okay.
after the employment agreement.
So would be beyond the scope of the provision 8?
Yeah, and I would also add that there's no like counterclaim here regarding, breach of contract or breach of non-compete agreements or anything like that. It's not relevant to anything.
All right, we'll move on. All right. Thank you, Mr. Webb.
This guy's trying to make out a case that doesn't exist. At one point, the defendant, when he was in pro per early on in the case, said that my clients hacked his computer system and all kinds of stuff, and that he was going to make police reports and things like that. It went absolutely nowhere. He didn't file a counter complaint. So I don't know why a lot of this stuff is being brought up.
After May 7th, 2021, what involvement did you have with Epic besides the joint venture?
None.
Farrell is mad and C-Swept wants attention. Coward. I believe Farrell is mad and C-Swept wants attention. Coward actually wants attention with the $4.99 super chat. I kind of like this name. Maybe I will make Bowtie Man chug another beer just to read it. Well, you can't because I am out. But thank you for the super chat.
We heard some testimony about the website in June and just looked at some analytics. Is that correct?
Correct.
What happened in June with the website?
The website, along with multiple ones, were turned off with Title Tab.
You're only $50 away.
Was there one other instance where the website was offline?
Yes.
When was that?
When there was an attempt to take the web domain from my account to another account.
You have a GoDaddy account that is listed as one of your domain names.
Correct.
And you didn't give permission for anyone to move that anywhere else, is that correct?
Correct.
So what happened?
My system was breached, and it was accessed through my laptop through a breach in my IT system, and essentially someone acted as if me, took the web
None of
domain,
this is relevant.
transferred it. I was notified by GoDaddy. I immediately contacted them. They rectified the situation and reinstated it back under my account, and then created a multiple step access so that cannot be reached again.
Where was it transferred to, if you know?
To Epic Title Services.
And do you know when that was?
It was October, I don't know the specific date.
October of 2021 or?
October of 2021.
Okay. And was it after that point that you received an email from Ms. Lusby?
Yes, that I received the email stating that they wanted to gain access. No, it was actually before that, I'm sorry. It was before that happened that they wanted to gain access to the web domain. And I said at that time I was not interested in selling. And then the consequent email afterwards stated, it's okay, we have our IT department that was able to access it.
So you didn't give permission for them to access it?
Correct.
Was it also
Hexer.
in those string of emails where the ownership of that domain name came up?
Correct. That they stated the email stated that they were aware that they did not own, and it did not come with as an asset with Epic Title Services, and wanted to know how they could obtain it.
Notice there's no email introduced.
You had a chance to look at the Google Analytics or whatever it was on there. Do you have any experience with things of that nature?
I do.
Okay, tell us about your experience with those things.
So we work with Google very closely. That's who handles all of our primary marketing systems and our analytics. We run them on a daily basis. If there's a hiccup anywhere in the system on a daily basis, we're notified. So that way we can rectify it so there's not an issue.
I don't know why I didn't object. I might have been just sort of reading the judge. I had objected a lot. I don't know.
Issue. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with a third-party company that manages web domains, emails, web hosting, things of that nature, you want to make sure that you stay on top of it. So we work closely with Google and the Google suite of products that operates our businesses.
And when you got to look at the screen when Ms. Leonardo was testifying and had it just on the screen, is that correct?
Correct.
What did you see on that screen?
I saw a significant decline in hits and traffic to their website from June of 2022 on through the end of the year.
So the one testimony was that the website was offline for a number of days in June, is that correct?
Correct.
And did it pop right back up to where it was before?
No, it did not.
Okay.
It looked like it stayed down through the remainder of the year.
All right. And was there any other factor you're aware of that, well, strike that. What factors may, if you know, may affect that kind of Google search hit?
Oh, it could be a tremendous amount of things, but a lot of which is marketing. If you backed off on any marketing, or if you changed your SEO, which is your search engine
I'm going to
optimization.
object, Judge. The witness is offering opinion. This is not fact. He's not been qualified as an expert. Plus,
Apparently, I do object eventually.
he's speculating. So, for a myriad of reasons, I'm objecting to this line of questioning.
Okay. Mr. Abbott?
I'm asking him about the document that they wanted to get in based on Ms. Leonardo's testimony
Well-
and look at it. So that's what I'm asking him about.
But he's asking his opinion as to why it would have gone down. That's an opinion as to why it would have gone down. And he's not an expert qualified to offer that opinion. He could testify that he did and I didn't object that, yeah, I saw it go down. But he's not qualified to offer any sort of opinion as to why. If he had done the analysis and looked at marketing campaigns, maybe he could even be a fact witness, but he's not either at this point.
Okay.
Well, I guess as long as we've established that nobody here has been qualified to say why it went down or what happened or how it affected. And
The problem with the why it went down is we already had a full hearing on this before this attorney was involved. We had a show cause hearing. We had witnesses called, many witnesses, and the judge made a ruling that the website went down because that witness specifically made it go down.
Anything,
Told
I'm good with that.
Title Tap to
if that's
shut
what
all
they're, if
websites
that's what
down.
they're saying, that she didn't establish any of that either, I'm fine with that then.
Mr.
Judge, the testimony is what the testimony is from my clients or otherwise. There's no objection made. I didn't ask for opinions. We simply presented the facts. What is being asked here now is an opinion of a layman of a fairly technical issue that we could go into days of testimony probably explaining. But we're not doing that. We're not offering that. This witness is not qualified for that. If you want to offer foundational evidence and qualify him as an expert in Google Analytics and how the hits to websites could be affected by marketing or whatever else he was speculating to, then so be it. But there hasn't been a proper foundation, and he hasn't been admitted as an expert.
All right.
Let me ask him this, Judge. I'll save you the time.
Okay.
How about this, sir? You looked at what was proposed Exhibit F, but then not admitted. Is that correct?
I get to do
Yes.
that later today, Warrior B.
Then you had an opportunity to look at the screen from the analytics that they testified to today. Is that correct?
Yes,
Do you see any difference between those two?
I do.
What difference do you see?
I see a substantial variance of a snapshot for the whole year that there's been a decline in traffic versus a snapshot of a couple of days.
Okay, so this guy represented himself for the majority of this case. It wasn't until I filed my summary motion and the day before the hearing on my summary motion, I filed a summary motion to basically say, Judge, there's no dispute in fact, issue a ruling as a matter of law in this case. He hired counsel the day before. I said I wasn't going to adjourn it. Then he got an adjournment, but he had to pay attorney fees, and this attorney jumped in for that. Then there was absolutely nothing done on the case for like 4 or 5 months until trial date. But this attorney was not involved early on at all with the case. So the show cause stuff and all of that, he represented himself.
Do you know when Epic Title Services moved from Genesee County to Oakland County?
As stated here today, was June of 2022.
Brandon, let's go with the $4.99 super chat. Challenge: you can't pull the XX card C-swept. I don't know what that means, but thank you for the $4.99.
If I may have 1 second.
Take your time.
Wants to be like Martinez, huh? I do what I do, what I do, what I do. And I'm good at what I do. I don't know. What do you guys think of my approach on this case? My objections and all that stuff? Let me know in the comments if you're rewatching, or in the chat now. Or if you want to come on panel. C-Swept, if you want to come on panel.
Did you ever think you were giving the plaintiff the domain name for $50,000?
Got no time.
You've paid personally for the
I don't know why I was so angry on that redirect with my own client. I don't know. Yeah, I'll agree that was bad.
purchase and
It makes me wonder how kind of hostile I get cross-examining this guy, who's the defendant.
renewal of that domain name
I have.
before the sale and after the sale?
I have.
This is actually
Is
probably
there a
good.
phone number that was used
People
with the
should-
business?
I feel like people should maybe step back and take a look at their job, right? And what they're doing and reevaluate what worked, what didn't work, how you came off.
You continue to own after the sale?
There is
What's that phone number?
866 to be Epic.
Was that ever discussed?
No, not once.
They ever demand you give them that phone number?
No.
His own personal phone number? I'll be back.
Judge, the other questions I have, I'm asking to make an offer of proof on. They go to the health care and the court's order regarding payment by Mr. Petterfee for the health care.
Judge, we addressed this prior to the trial starting, prior to our opening argument, or actually, I guess, kind of midway through the opening statements. The matter's been resolved pursuant to your opinion on the summary motion. The specific things, again, referenced in the summary motion was unjust enrichment, an award of $10,750.95 in favor of the plaintiff. That was in your summary motion. The damages for shutting down the website and the ownership of the domain name are the only thing that's up for dispute to me. I'll renew my objection to offering any sort of proof. Otherwise, it's not a motion for reconsideration. It's not properly before the court today. It's been properly disposed of with the summary motion. And in fact, counsel was brought on this case, and time was given for counsel to get up to speed and argue the summary motion, and then the opinion was issued. So I can understand if Mr. Petterfee was improper and now he's got counsel, maybe the time had passed. He had counsel at the time the summary motion was issued. Motions for reconsideration, motions for setting aside judgments, could all have been filed in a timely manner pursuant to the court order, and they haven't been. So it's not properly up for today.
I
I was
argued
trying to
this
save everybody some
prior
time
to the
because we
trial,
go to the
too.
Court of Appeals with that one still later on, and
He's not going to win in the Court of Appeals. It's a BS. Brandon, let's go with the $4.99 super chat. I literally pay you $5 if one of those other cowards sends a super chat. Yeah, no one's sending a super chat. Why is nobody sending a super chat except for Brandon? But thank you, Brandon, for the super chat. And this guy's argument, they're like, "Oh, I'm going to go to the Court of Appeals." It is meaningless. He said it so many different times today. He said it to me out in the hallway. I said, "Fine, then file an appeal. I don't care." He argued that when we were addressing this issue before the trial. It's a weak argument.
Okay, so what are you looking to offer as proof here?
I'm looking to
I'm looking at some trials that are starting. I'm doing an evidence stream talking about the rules of evidence, what it actually means, and then I'm not going to finish this today. I thought I was going to try to finish it, but I've still got 2 hours left, or 2.5 hours. So probably not going to finish this today. I'll do another stream with this coming up, and yeah, super chats in this economy, right? I know, right? Yeah, everyone.
offer as proof that the order ordered 10,000 some odd dollars, and only a small portion of that belonged to Mr. Petterfee. It was clear from the documents submitted by the plaintiff that Cantleberry and
Remember I said the judge issued a summary disposition motion where he already ruled that my clients were entitled to $10,000 worth of reimbursement for the overpayment of the insurance. He wants to relitigate this. It's not appropriate to relitigate this.
even, I think it was Ms. Lusby, money was paid by the company for their healthcare expenses at that time, yet the court awarded the entire amount, including the other people that Mr. Petterfee wouldn't be responsible for, as damages. That's what I wanted to point out to the court.
Your Honor, again, I will say that if the court
I made my 3,000 during the Jody area stream yesterday. But yeah, thank you very much. It's very cool.
wants to entertain the offer of proof, although I don't think it's properly before, Your Honor. I have not prepared for this. I don't have witnesses.
Thank you,
I don't have
Rabbit, for
exhibits
the
lined up for
$10.
this, because
What?
I'm
I
here
hit
to
the wrong
discuss
button.
the ownership of the domain name and the damages as it relates to shutting down the website in June of 2022. So
There's only
I'm
$30
not properly
left.
prepared to address this item.
All right, Mr. Rabbit, I'm going to,
Thank you, Brett.
I am going to allow you
Nope.
to press forward on this, but if opposing counsel needs to come back,
Oh, sure.
you know, I don't know where this is leading, but I'm gonna let you do it. We're here. I want it on the record. And then if Mr. Helm does need more time, people to address what you have to discuss.
Look at the broken baker being all nice and sweet. Let's get him to 4,000. One of the nicest people on the tubes. Look, I even tied ties for you guys.
Close to the court now, then more than likely the court will allow him to do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Your Honor, absolutely.
Then Farrell's got to come in and ruin it.
I'm just looking for one other.
Yeah, the flag has gold fringe,
Thank you.
so
I'll be quick. Mr. Petterfee,
I don't know why. I think the judge is just humoring him, letting him create a record on this. This issue has already been litigated. It's already been decided. The only recourse you have is a motion to essentially set aside a judgment. That's it. He has a year to file it. He's within the timeline. He just hasn't filed the motion.
it was brought to your attention by an email from either Ms. Lusby or Ms. Leonardo in October of 2021 that the company, Epic Title Services LLC, was continuing to pay your health care. Is that right?
Correct.
How did you address that with them?
I immediately called the healthcare company to try and understand why it was still being withdrawn from their account, not from mine.
And attached to plaintiff's motion for summary disposition, that issue was addressed, is that correct?
Correct.
And they had bills that were contained for the months they're claiming is owed And they actually begin in February of 2021, but you were still the owner of the company then, correct?
Well, Christie was, yes.
Yep. And they go to April and then May, the sale. So the first time that you received any benefit would have been either June or July. Do you agree with that?
Correct.
Okay. And if the document that they have attached as Exhibit 8 to their summary
I'm gonna see
disposition
if I can get done
motion
with direct
showed
on the
that
stream.
for
And we'll save cross for next stream.
June 1st of 2021, you had $479.55. Would you agree with that?
I agree.
And who's David Cantleberry?
That is Christie's husband.
Okay. And he had $715. Would you agree with that?
Correct.
Right. July.
He could be
of
humoring his client, too,
2021, yours was $479.55. Do you agree with that?
I do.
And you have reviewed these documents?
I have.
August, your share is $304.55. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then in September, $654.55. Is that correct?
Seems like it went up a lot.
What document are you looking at?
Exhibit 8 from your summary disposition motion. Well, if I may approach.
Petterfee is a scumbag of human being. Yeah.
654.
Anyone who doesn't want to own anything in their name and does all the shady shell company sort of stuff, I just don't trust.
And then,
By the way, the best snack is peanut butter and celery. I don't care what any of you said. Peanut butter and celery is the best.
October, $504.55. Is that correct?
Correct.
And so, if I added it up correct, $2,422.75 was your portion of whatever the company continued to pay for your benefit after the sale for your health care. Do you agree?
I agree.
And if it was July, then the total would be $1,943.20. Is that correct?
Correct.
I don't have any other questions. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, David. So we'll have cross by Mr. Helm.
Yes, thank you.
Wow, I had a mouthful of peanut butter there. All right, we're going to leave it here. So what do you guys think? How am I doing? Who do you believe thus far? Do you believe the company owns the domain name, which is the real issue here, or do you believe that this individual owns the domain name, just based off of the testimony that you've heard thus far? Do I even need to do a cross, right? Oh, there we go. All right. Okay, thank you all for following along. This is part 4 of MLS Goes to Court. This is the Epic Title Services LLC case versus Darren Petterfee out of Genesee County, Michigan. And the trial is May 31st of 2023. So I will do the rest of the trial. I think we have about 2 hours left. I'll do the rest of the trial on another day. I don't know what day yet. It might be Monday, but I think my schedule is going to preclude me from streaming on Monday for some reason. Also, Chandler, if you're still in the chat, you and I need to talk because we're going to do a Sarah Boone update at some point later today, so keep an eye out for that. Make sure you give a thumbs up, tell your friends about the show, share the show, all that good stuff. I'm going to redirect you all over to Nick right now, Nicholas, who is still streaming. Yeah, and this is getting to the good part on this case that he's streaming. This is Iowa v. Henry Dinkins, which is an interesting case, but the most interesting part is coming up because I believe his son is being cross-examined right now, or at least a child. I don't know if it's his son or his... Yeah, I think it's his son. Serial Shot Dodger. My name is also Quiet Farrell. Okay, with the $4.99 super chat. You won't chug a beer, you coward. Thank you very much for that super chat. You have been told. I'm glad you guys enjoyed. I will This is not. This is Genesee County. This is Flint. This is Jamie's hometown. If she ever got out of her driveway, this is where Jamie, well, in the area, Genesee County. But so it's just north of me. It's about the same distance for me to drive to the Oakland County Court as Genesee County, really. Let's see. Trial and rib tips for lunch. Winning. Nice. Rib tips are good. That actually sounds really good. Let's see. Email does not work without MX record provided through DSS. So, yeah, you better hand it over. Yeah, that's kind of my point, right? They'd have to change everything. At that point, you might as well just buy or form a new company. Why even buy the company, right? So, none of this makes sense as to why he claims all of a sudden he owns the domain name. So, I tried Baker. He wasn't having it. All right. Well, anyways, I'm going to leave you guys for today. I'm going to send you over to Nicholas's stream. I might join over there on panel or in chat, one way or the other. I'll be over there. And I will see you all shortly. Thank you.